Something we have not spent a lot of time talking about here throughout the beginning of Saints training camp are updates on Foster, Moreau, and Taysom Hill. And it's understandable. It's a little out of sight, out of mind. Of course, Taysom was injured at the beginning of December, devastating knee injury. Foster was injured quite literally in the last game of the season at the beginning of January against Tampa in Week 18. Both of them serious knee injuries that required surgery. And up until this point, we just haven't heard a lot about them other than the guys being out there, maybe doing some work on the side. Well, when Kellen Moore met with reporters on Tuesday night, remember the Saints are in LA, so it was a 2-hour time difference. They're practicing. They start practice at 6 Central, 4 Pacific. So when Kellen Moore's meeting with reporters, it's like 9 o'clock here. Kellen Moore was asked for an update on Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau, and it's succinct but not good.
They're doing an excellent job. They're still in the rehab process. They're not getting ready to get on the field anytime soon. So they're doing an excellent job. They're in meetings every day. They're a part of this. They can't do anything more than what they're doing right now.
They can't do anything more than they're doing right now. They're not close to getting on the field. Remember, if they start the season on PUP, they're not even it's physically unable to perform. Sometimes you hear people say the PUP list. That's what that is. You're not even eligible to return until after the 4th game. So if you're looking at New Orleans with Taysom and with Foster Moreau, the best case scenario, is that they would be activated off of the PUP list after the 4th game. They open up Cardinals, Niners, at the Seahawks, at the Bills, and then October the 5th, they're home against the Giants. Like, best case, that's where you'd be targeting. But generally, if you activate someone off of PUP, then you got the 21-day ramp-up window. So in theory, it could be 7 weeks if you activate them. So, I mean, it may not be until November, end of October, beginning of November, if you see those guys at all this year. And, if you just follow the typical timeline for an ACL, and listen, Taysom's was apparently multiple ligaments and multiple injuries and very significant. I mean, you're talking about, an 8 to 12 month timeline. And that was December. So, I mean, realistically, if you're just split the difference and you go 10 months, you're looking at October for Taysom Hill, best case. Foster's again was in January. So, do they make it back? What would you even be playing for at that point? I don't know. But it's why I'll continue to underscore, I think, the importance of the tight end position in these preseason games and in training camp. Because you are dangerously thin right there. Not in numbers. The weird thing is you have this glut of bodies. You just don't have a good option. You've got Juwan Johnson, but we all know Juwan Johnson is a pass-catching tight end. He's not the run-blocking tight end, and he's not the hybrid. If you look at what a year ago Kellen Moore had in Philly with Dallas Goedert, he's the hybrid. Dallas Goedert last year caught 42 balls for just under 500 yards and a couple of scores on the Super Bowl team, which, by the way, had A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, they didn't need Dallas Goedert to go be a 100-tackle guy. By the way, Dallas Goedert ripped the Saints' heart out in the Superdome last year with the long catch and run he had late in the game. But he had that potential. But he's also a guy that doesn't make you predictable by personnel. Like, he is the modern tight end, the guy that's athletic enough to be a pass catcher, a really dynamic pass catcher, but physical enough to be a blocker. That's why Mason Taylor is such an intriguing prospect at the NFL level. Anyway, outside, so you don't have that guy. You've got Juwan Johnson, who's really a one-trick pony. Everyone else you have, Michael Jacobson, Moliki Mataval, who's the 7th-round pick out of UCLA, Jack Stoll, Trayton Welch, and then you just re-signed Seth Green again, who, remember, Seth Green was with the Saints. He was let go. He had been in the UFL. So that's sort of an on-again, off-again thing there as they have roster spots and a lot of movement. If you just look at the game against the Chargers on Sunday, Jack Stoll, his PFF grade was a 40.9. That was the 3rd lowest on the team. That ain't great. Neither was Trayton Welch, who was at a 46.8. By the way, the guy who's going to be your starter, Juwan Johnson, was at a 50, one of the worst on the team. Moliki Matavao was at a 54, and Michael Jacobson was a 55.7. That was the high watermark, was Jacobson at a 55.7. Bottom line is, you really don't have a good option right now at tight end outside of Juwan Johnson. And even if you look beyond Goddard, remember, not only did they have Goddard last year, but they also had Calcaterra in Philly, who caught 24 passes for just under 300 yards, but that's just another option when they went 2 tight end sets. So you need that. I mean, even think back to when Kellen Moore was in Dallas and he had Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz in 22, which was Kellen Moore's last year in Dallas, caught 57 balls for just under 600 yards and 5 touchdowns. It's an important part of Kellen Moore's offense, and you just don't have it right now. And Foster Moreau really is the guy that's kind of the prototype. I mean, Taysom is still just his slash role. The prototype is Foster Moreau, so that's really the guy in this offense you're looking to replace, who could line up there alongside Juwan Johnson, those 2 tight end sets. So something to follow as they continue to move through camp. But the update from Kellen Moore on Taysom and Foster, not good. I mean, plan to not have them certainly through September, maybe for the entire season. At least I think you have to approach it that way, like there's at least a possibility that you wouldn't have either guy this year. Plan accordingly. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.